Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dear Beauty. I'm Jen.
I'm Alexis.
Yeah, I hope the sound quality is better this time. We live and we learn, you know?
We learned a lot.
I am currently underneath the blanket.
And I'm freezing my tits off. We all make sacrifices, Jennifer.
You better give us a 5-star for this.
I mean, I think we deserve a 5-star just because we're fucking hilarious and adorable, but, you know, that's just my opinion.
I'm like so fearful that one of these days it's just bound to happen. Someone's not going to understand our humor or think that like any of this is remotely good and they're going to give us a 1-star and they don't even know us, and I'm so scared for that day.
But here's the thing. We know that we're delightful, and that's all that matters. We don't do this for them, Jennifer.
Well,
we do it for us.
We're just here to listen to ourselves after each episode. I legit spent like 3 hours of my life rewatching or re-listening to every episode we've already posted.
You do what you gotta do. I mean, it's the best method of like quality control.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was busy as shit. We finished moving.
Usually you send me like a lot of memes over the weekend, but you were pretty quiet this weekend.
I didn't text you all weekend except for when I was like having a fight with my husband and I needed emotional support. And that fight lasted like 8 minutes, so.
Which is good. We don't have time out here to be like holding grudges, y'all.
I feel like I got out of that one a lot easier than I should have. It was like one of those things where like I got upset about. I was totally in the wrong, 100%.
Always.
Honey, when you listen to this, please know that I was wrong. Like someone in my family said something snarky to me and got me all worked up, and then I turned that around on him. So I turned that around on him and like started something, and then he like made a valid point, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this over text. We'll talk when you get home. And then like in the time that it took for him to like get home, I had like calmed down. I was like, okay, I'm not going to reopen this can of worms because like he's going to win.
Yeah, like my boyfriend and I, once the situation is over, like he'll start mocking me. Not mocking, I don't know. He just kind of like acts like the way that I did. And then I get offended because that's what I did and it looks stupid. But that's his way of showing me that what I did or said was stupid. And it's been very effective.
Healthy? Probably not, but effective, sure.
But yeah, my weekend was so... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, we all do very unhealthy shit in relationships.
We just learn from our parents.
We do our best.
Yeah, my weekend was so... It was very eventful, but at the same time, like, my emotions were not there. I was so fucking lazy. So I went down to San Diego. Like, once a month, my boyfriend doesn't take any clients, so then we'll spend the weekend in San Diego where he lives, and we'll just do, like, I don't know, something other than OC. But obviously being mindful of, like, the pandemic, we would just, like, go out to eat and then try to stay home and stuff like that. But yeah, like I try to keep up with the boys, you know, and like try to go running in the morning with them. And so we would wake up early and they're running like 2 miles and I'm like a little bit behind, but I'm trying to catch up. And that just completely drained me both days because I haven't ran. That was like the most I ran in a weekend that I ran in like 3 months. So I was really exhausted. I was sore. I didn't feel like doing anything except eat and nap, which was amazing. I enjoyed it.
That's a perfect weekend.
Yeah.
It's just eating and napping.
Yeah, and it was so nice. I didn't have anything on my schedule. Like, there wasn't, like, a place I had to be at a certain time. There wasn't anyone I had to impress. So, yeah, it was good.
You need those every now and again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes me excited to be back at work today. Yeah.
That's nice. I'm glad you're excited to be back to work. Like, I'm just thinking about, like, the pile of stuff that's, like, sitting in the middle of my living room
Yeah.
That I have to, like, find somewhere for.
Yeah.
And, like...
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, half the storage is already used up because my grandparents, who are my landlords, are, like, storing their stuff there. And I was like, hey, when do you think you're going to move that out? And they were like,
They're like, you ungrateful bitch. We're never moving this out.
Basically, that was the vibe that I got. So all my storage is dedicated to my grandmother's collection of dinnerware sets. She keeps asking if I want these blue and green glass goblets. And I don't like them. They're not cute.
Maybe you can have like a Game of Thrones night.
No, they don't even look. They look like, I don't know, very, very 90s. She keeps asking me if I want them. And I'm like, no, Grandma, I don't like them.
Grandmother,
I don't want
I'm
them.
a millennial. I only like rose gold and shiny shit. Okay?
Yeah, basically. And she's like, are you sure you don't want them? You could use them for dinner parties. I'm like, Grandma, how often do you think I'm going to have a dinner party? I don't have entertain. Friends. I don't have friends. Like, she's like, do you want to hang on to these? I'm like, no.
Like, it sounds like the most beautiful thing to have grandparents, and yet I'm so grateful that I don't have grandparents.
I love them. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore my grandparents.
They sound delightful. My grandparents aren't delightful.
Mine are just a little eccentric and set in their ways.
Yeah, like, I've just never been close to mine, and I just, at a certain point, you just like, I don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me, and life exists with or without grandparents. And so I love hearing stories about other people's grandparents and how amazing they are. But also, I don't want to deal with it myself.
I'll let you know next time Pat is in town, and you can go hang out with Pat.
Yeah. Pat is
the true grandma experience. My mom's mom, the quiet one.
Okay. When I first met her, I thought she would be like the bitchy one. But like, now that I know, she's like the most beautiful, kind person. She's so sweet.
She's a delightful, sweet woman. Yes.
Yeah.
And my other grandma is a great time.
She looks like a great time. Like, you would want to party with her.
She parties hard, man. Once that first vodka tonic gets going, it's all downhill. She's like now getting close with her. I know we need to wrap this intro up because it's like it's going all along, but like she's getting really close with her younger sister now that they're dealing with stuff with their mom moving into hospice. And so like when we were finishing moving this weekend, she and her sister were like hanging out, getting drunk together.
Wow.
Like these two old ladies like drinking vodka tonics. And then I asked her to like come over and just tell me what in the fridge was hers so I could like move my fridge in. And she comes over and she's drunk off her ass with her sister, and they can't even get through like a full sentence because they're drunk.
That sounds amazing. That sounds so much fun. Like,
and
that's
then
like
she made me a vodka tonic, and we hung out and had vodka tonics, and then we went and got In and Out together.
What's the best advice your grandmothers gave you? Can you think of one? Like, if you're listening right now, we want to hear what was like the best beauty advice your grandmother gave you.
Beauty advice? Neither of my grandmas are into beauty. I guess my dad's mom was a hairstylist, but she, like, neither of them are particularly into like makeup or skincare or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know that either of them have really like given me beauty advice. It's more like,
you should ask them, or maybe like life advice that's somehow related to beauty, and in the next episode you can share with us.
Yeah, I'll ask the grandmas.
Yeah.
How do you look so young and beautiful?
Yeah, I can't even think of one advice my grandmother gave me that I valued. I'm sure she's given me advice, but it's like, whatever. It's like shit that every grandma says, but they don't really mean it, you know? Anyways, send us your grandma stories. We'd love to hear it.
Oh my God,
it makes our
I
heart
love
flutters.
grandma stories.
Okay, so in today's...
What are we talking about today? What are we actually talking about?
We're talking about shit that our grandmas probably would have wanted.
Getting old, yeah. We're talking about, like, shit that keeps you from getting old.
Today, we're talking about Botox. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure you've seen it. Instagram is filled with all things Botox and fake. And we're here to talk about what the fuck Botox is, our experience with it, and what our advice to you is.
Yes. So, like, if you're not already aware, I think most people are at this point, but Botox stands for botulinum toxin. It's the same toxin that's produced when you get botulism from eating, like, undercooked or like bacteria, like E. coli infested shit. But you inject it in your face. Dude, it's so diluted. It's so ridiculously diluted. You're not going to get sick from that. I know some people, like, have concerns about it being, like, botulinum toxin. It's like 0.01% botulinum toxin. Is fine. And it's been used
like to treat migraines and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Was that the original purpose of it?
It was originally used as a medical treatment and then later moved into aesthetics.
Yeah, like once they found out they could freeze wrinkles and shit.
Basically, yeah. So, like, they were noticing that people who got sick from, I think it's E. coli. Do I look this up so I don't, like, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead while you look it up. So, like, Botox, there's, like, we're so, like, it's like Kleenex. You know, when you think of tissue paper, you think of Kleenex, no matter what brand of tissue paper. So Botox is the same thing. Like, there's different brands of Botox, and there are better brands than, like, the Botox brand, right? But when we, like, I made this mistake, too. When I went in to get my, like, first injections, I was like, yeah, just give me Botox. And I'm like, which brand? I'm like, I don't know, Botox? So, yeah, like that's something to keep in mind. So when you don't get caught off guard when, like, they're asking you which brand it is. And from my experience, there's different types. There's, like, fillers, and then there's Botox. So depending on what you want to get done, like with lips, you wouldn't use Botox. You know, you would use, like, Juvederm or something like that's a filler. And the way that Botox works is it doesn't like make your wrinkle go away. That's not how it works. It's impossible to, like, get your wrinkle away, right? What it does is it freezes the muscle so that the wrinkle doesn't form. So, like, let's say crow's feet. If you have crow's feet and you get Botox around that area, what it does is it freezes the muscle that causes that wrinkle to form. And then that way the wrinkle disappears. And then over time, you know, the Botox, it would not disintegrate, but it would just kind of, like, go back to like your muscle would go back to how it was originally, relaxed. And that's when you would have to go get your follow-up appointment. And a tip that my injector had given me, and also my boyfriend had given me, is, like, the more often you do it, the less you have to do it, if that makes sense. So, like, you would go, like, maybe before you would go, like, once a year. But, like, when you get on the habit of going once a year, then you would maybe go once every 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. So
but it just depends on your face, too.
Yes. I Googled, and I was right to Google because it is not E. coli. It's Clostridium botulinum. Botulinum. Wait, hang on. Clostridium.
Dude, what were your thoughts on Botox, like, when you first heard about them? Because I was super against getting Botox or fillers or anything on my face when I was younger.
So against it. So I grew up in Newport Beach, California, where, like, literally everyone and their mom has Botox and fillers. And there's a particular Southern California look, you know, like,
we've all seen it.
We've all seen it. Like, very, like, Real Housewives, you know, like, they're clearly in their 40s and 50s, but, like, their face is, like, perfectly smooth, and they've got, like, the enhanced lips. And so I always looked at Botox and fillers as, like, oh, if you get it, that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah, same here. There's a very specific, like, look for, like, older Asian women too, like, you know, the ones that get, like, tattooed eyebrows and tattoo eyeliners and lips. Like, they also get, like, Botox and fillers, but it makes them look so fake and, like, stiff that it scared me, because I like had associated that look with Botox and fillers.
Right. And even looking at someone like, I remember it was in the news recently how much work Kylie Jenner was having done. Like, she's my age, but she looks like she's 10 years older.
Like, have you seen those photos of her? And I'm not trying to shame anyone, but like, have you seen those photos of her where they're not filtered? Like, she's pumping gas or whatever. Like, I don't know how real those photos are, but like, they're so different from the photos that you'll see like on her her Instagram feed.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she does a fair amount of editing for her Instagram, and like, everybody looks awful in candid photos.
Yeah.
And if that's the look that she's going for, that's fine. Like, you do you, honey boo boo. For me, that was always a look that I wasn't interested in. And so when presented with like as I got older, I started knowing more people who had Botox who looked like they didn't have Botox. I remember like working one of my retail jobs. My manager said like, okay, I have to leave early. I have a Botox appointment. And I was like, you get Botox? And she's like, yeah, I've been doing it for 15 years.
Wow.
Just forehead wrinkles and crow's feet. That's it. I was like, oh, like I would never have guessed. Like, she still had like some lines. It wasn't like she had a perfectly smooth face.
Yeah.
She just looked like she had great skin.
Yeah, that's
so that was where I started getting like open to the idea.
Yeah, like before my first experience with like Botox and fillers like on myself was when I was, I want to say like 24, 25. I'm 27 now. But I wanted to get my lips done because my upper lip back then was like really thin. So when I smiled, it was like a really gummy smile. And so I went to like, I did a bunch of research and I chose this place down in San Jose. And I mean, like, I guess they did it well. They didn't give me the proper post-care, and I didn't take the post-care seriously. So I ended up bruising my lips really, really bad, which to this day you still kind of see it. And it looks like I have, sometimes like if I'm not wearing like lipstick, it looks like I have a cold sore, but it's really just the bump. And it's gotten a lot better over time. But I started having a better experience when I met my current boyfriend, Khan, because he's in medical aesthetics. And his whole thing is like how to make women look like natural, like enhancing their natural beauty. Yeah. So he taught me all these things about like crow's feet and like wrinkles and stuff like that. And so it's definitely something gradual. Like, don't come in like doing all these things. You want to do it little by little, because when you do too much on your face, you can't go back.
It's like cutting hair. You can always take more away. You can't add it back.
Yeah. And so I started with, I think just like my crow's feet. I did my wrinkles on my forehead, and then I did my lips, and I'm really happy with where my lips are now, but it did take 2 years to get it to where it is. Yeah. And what else have I gotten done? I just recently did some PDO threads for my 27th birthday, and that was a really interesting experience. And like I love learning about it. Like, there's so much to do on your face, and like you don't have to do it, but it really enhances your it just, I guess for me, it makes aging a lot more graceful to me.
So, like, it's even a little bit surprising to me to hear that you, like, had a pretty strong opposition to Botox and fillers.
You just don't think you need it,
At the risk of sounding like an asshole, you get a lot done. There's very little on your face that's your face at this point.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just clear up what I've gotten done in case anybody wants to know. And hopefully to you, I still look like pretty or natural. This sounds awful.
I don't think you look like fake, but like knowing how many different procedures you've had, it's surprising that this has only happened in the last 2 years. Yes. And I'm including like the microblading and the situation a little further down south.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I have gotten done. I've been very open about my getting my boobies done. And then I've had some filler in my chin, some in my cheeks. I was just trying it out. I've had, obviously, my lips done several different times to get it to the size it is now. I just tried PDO threads for the first time. And that was to lift my cheeks up, because what happens when you have really big cheeks is that like it kind of deflates and sags over time. So that was something that I wanted to get done. I've gotten wrinkles. I think it feels like a lot because like wrinkles I get done at least like once or twice a year. So sometimes like you see me go in, but they're really just to get like my touch up versus like getting something changed, if that makes sense. Yeah. So anyways, I would encourage everyone to like get your research done and go to different people, you know, and like looking at before and after pictures is so important, because if your doctor is someone who's used to doing like maybe like a certain Newport look and you don't like that, then, you know, maybe you can find someone who is more like matches your aesthetics. Yeah.
So if I may, I'd like to share a little bit about my experience, because I haven't had, like, I've only had Botox, no fillers yet. And
I'm so proud of you for giving it a try. You know what I mean?
Thank you. So for someone who's like on the fence about it, like I'm very lucky that I get the benefits of con through you, because I don't think I would have tried it otherwise. But like I've always had a super expressive face, so I'm getting like wrinkles in quotes, but they're not like age wrinkles necessarily. They're just like I have this big expressive face, and I'm always like raising my eyebrows and frowning and shit. So like I get wrinkles. So Con kind
and
of
wrinkles are not a bad thing. That is not what we're trying to say, you guys.
Oh no.
Wrinkles are just so like, natural.
I'm V young. I'm not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
When it comes, I'm happy to embrace it. But listen, like I'm too young for this shit. Let's keep like my skin is otherwise pretty awesome. So like I'm gonna try and roll with it as long as possible. But yeah, I've just had it on my forehead, a little bit on my crow's feet, and then I tried my last round a lip flip treatment. Yeah. Which is basically like you take Botox and inject it into I took my jacket off. Inject it into like your top lip.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to kind of like flip your lip out, so you get a little bit more of a pout without like adding volume. So it's supposed to give you more of a filler look. Yeah. Without the volume of fillers. It didn't super work for me. Like looking at the before and after pictures, like my smile is less gummy, but there's not more of like a pout to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I probably won't do that again. But like I tried it. So like for anyone who's scared, it doesn't hurt that bad. Like I'm such a I'm such a freaking wuss, and like
if they do it right, it shouldn't hurt. And there's also things like numbing or like lidocaine that your like injector can, you know, do it with your fillers or whatever.
I was told that I didn't get it because it wasn't gonna hurt that bad.
But it didn't hurt that bad, right?
Can I have lidocaine? And he was like, no.
Can I have some laughing gas and Vicodin with it?
If you could just like hand me a Vicodin. Just for the pain.
Prescribe me, because I know afterwards.
But, oh my god, so painful. Like so part of us like getting to be Con's practice dummies is that we have to help him like create content for his socials. So he was doing Jen's lips and using her as like a practice for this new like lip filler that's supposed to shut up. I'm telling the story. It's supposed to like look more natural and have less downtime and all that stuff. So he hands me the iPad and asks me to film it.
And keep in mind, homegirl has not eaten dinner yet.
I has not eaten. So I was like hanging in there for about a minute, and then it just kept going and going. And I started like looking away, like I was feeling really nauseous. And after like 2 minutes or something, he looked at me and he was like, "You okay? Do you need some food?" And I had to like sit down because my weak stomached ass couldn't watch him.
She was about to pass out, you guys.
I felt my whole body turn like white.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple of days after. So he asked me to do, and this was like before I had pedio threads done on my face, and he asked me to record a client of his, and like same thing, first thing in the morning, I didn't even have coffee yet, and like he's doing pedio threads on this lady, and I get so like nauseous, and I'm trying to be like, don't be a little bitch, don't be a bitch,
come on.
But yeah, I had to stop recording and sit down too.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me, but that happened during my tattoo too.
Yeah. Your tiny ass tattoo.
Oh my god, it was this teeny tiny ass tattoo on my ankle, and I was watching the artist like do it, and I got sick. And I was like, my last tattoo experience had been very different, where they were like very much like kind of babying me, like, you okay? Do you need a break? Do you need like a sip of water? Do you need to eat something? This guy had freaking headphones in, was not looking at me, and I was like, hey, I think I need to lay down. And he, like, didn't hear me because he had headphones in. And eventually, like, I stopped him and was like, I need to lay down. And he side-eyed me so hard.
He's like, this bitch, this tiny-ass tattoo can't even handle it.
There's another guy getting, like, a full back tattoo, and I'm like, I need to lay down. And then it was a really expensive tattoo.
It was. It was much more expensive than I anticipated.
Yeah, for the size, like we got ripped
off.
This is a bad experience.
That's what we
It's a nice tattoo, though. Our tattoos look good. He did a good job. It was just expensive.
Good job, guy.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Can you have a bad reaction?
Oh yes, absolutely. You can have an allergic reaction to the kind of brand that you're using. So it's one of those things where unless you know ahead of time, like Kun, one of his friends came in for lip fillers, and I guess she had like a really bad reaction to it that she had to come in and basically get it like sucked back out.
Oof. Ouch.
Yeah, it sounded painful.
With Botox in particular, like, I'm what's it called when you think you have a million diseases?
I don't know.
That thing where you think you have a million diseases. So, like, I'm a WebMD queen. Botox reactions are super, super rare. It can happen, and from what I researched, like, what's likely to happen is you get more of a frozen look instead of a softening. Your best course of action, if you have any allergies to any medications, you tell your provider.
Yeah.
You tell them,
because they should know. That's what the questionnaire is for.
That's what the questionnaire is for. But they should know, like, if you are on certain medications or have allergies to certain medications, that whether or not you're a good candidate.
Yeah, definitely there are side effects to it. Also with the nose, did you know that like a lot of clinics or med spas choose to opt out of doing any sort of injections on the nose, because what happens is there's so many nerves on your nose that if the injector like does something wrong, or like let's say like there's just so many things that can actually cause blindness. And so,
oh my God.
And so for Khan, one of the things that he's started doing for his clients now is inserting a pedio thread on the nose. What do you call this? The bridge of the nose?
The bridge, yeah.
To help correct if you have like bumpiness or if you have like a divot. So those are some safer alternatives. Definitely check, but I would try to avoid getting any sort of injections on the bridge of your nose.
I didn't know that. That's
I didn't know that
freaky.
either. It's frightening. Like, imagine if your provider didn't tell you that.
And you went blind because you got like a little like button nose filler. Just get a rhinoplasty if you're gonna do it. Like, just go in.
Yeah.
Go big or go home with the nose.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is like all of these like celebrity like med spas or like celebrity Instagrams.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if there's a correct term for it, but it's basically like these Insta famous med spas who have like tons of pictures. Celebrities go to them, and I just want to clarify that when I had first started like looking into injections, like that was the place that I had looked to, like Insta famous places, because one, they had a ton of before and after pictures, and I felt like I could trust them. But it just goes back to, you know, not every provider, like everyone's results are different. What a like influencer gets done on her face and looks good may not have the same results for you. So it's so important, again, that you do your research. And also, here's some tea, but I heard that there's a couple of like insta famous celebrity surgeons or like injectors or providers or whatever that actually do like a really shady job. Like they don't follow, like they have more people who don't like the work than people who do.
I see.
So they're kind of just like paying their way. They're just not good at what they do.
I find that happens a fair amount with like
in any industry,
businesses.
Coming from someone who maybe would you consider yourself a beginner?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what is your advice to people who are beginners or have not gotten it yet?
If you have friends who are already getting it and you like their results, go to their provider. Bring a friend with you. Like if you're a huge wuss like me, like it helps to have somebody there to like talk to you and make you feel comfortable. And then with Botox in particular, I don't know about fillers, Botox, like again, being a WebMD freak, I like could not sleep the first night I got it because I sleep on my side and I was like, oh my God, am I going to ruin my face? Is my face going to be fucked up in the morning? Because I can't control what happens once I fall asleep, you know?
Yeah.
Don't worry too much about it. Stay upright for 4 hours and then go about your life. It's fine.
Yeah. Take post-care seriously because you don't want, you know, to ruin what you paid for, what you put your face through. So do take post-care seriously. It's there for a reason. For me, my advice for someone who I would
It's literally the opposite of what I just said.
Well, like, take it seriously as in, like, don't suck through a straw. Don't, like...
Fillers, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, for you, it's more Botox. Like, the post-care isn't as maybe intensive as, like, fillers or something like pedio threads or microneedling.
Right.
Yeah. So for someone who, I guess, is more intermediate, yeah, let's do that. So on a scale, beginner meaning that you just getting Botox for wrinkles, and then intermediate is like fillers, like maybe like lips, and then the Botox, and then maybe like lasers and stuff, and then advanced would be like anything beyond, like there's pedio threads and the whole shebang, right?
Right.
So I guess I would consider myself more advanced, not in knowledge, just in shit that I've done to my face. So for someone who's had a little bit more work done, I would say like definitely take post-care seriously, because with anything like pedio threads, like I had to sleep on my back for at least a week. I did 2 weeks. And then I like was really gentle with my face. What else? And then with fillers, like you can't suck on a straw. So like take that kind of post-care really seriously, because you don't want to ruin the results or like put yourself in any worse shape. And another advice that I would have is really do your research. Make sure that the provider you're going to has a lot of great before and after pictures that you can resonate with. Be really clear in what it is that you want. And don't be afraid to like ask questions. You know, of course, trust your provider that they're doing the right thing for your face. But it is also your face. You know, it's your property. It's something that you're going to be seeing every day.
You should always be asking questions of any doctor or medical provider.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to understand what's happening with your body.
And also, y'all, like, cheap Botox is not a thing.
Bad.
Like, bad. You really do get what you pay for.
Don't Groupon that shit.
Don't Groupon
I know you want to because it's expensive, but do not do it. Not worth it.
Yeah, you can't be looking for deals when it comes to these kind of medical procedures. Okay, says the girl who like got her first lip injections for like a 2 for $500 deal. So me and my girlfriend went.
And were those lip injections fucked up?
Dude, it turned out really well on her, but I think like I fucked up because I didn't take post-care seriously.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so
it's a shame that you wasted that 2 for $500.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I guess I just want to I want to discuss the stigma around getting Botox and fillers and other aesthetic procedures.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stigma surrounding it still, and I feel like it's great that, well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's great, but like people are definitely more familiar with it and like want it because of these celebrities and how available it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the stigma around it is like, if you're a type of person, if you go get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that like I experienced, where people, if you have it done well, no one knows that you have it.
Yeah.
So you only like see the bad ones.
Yeah.
So like I was doing some research, and the average age of starting Botox now in the United States is 19 years old.
Wow.
Which means that a lot more people than you think are getting Botox, and it's being done as a preventative, you know.
How do you feel about that though? Like doing it that early? Like I don't,
so like at that point I personally
like
don't think I would have done it
still. Well, like, not for everyone. Okay, I got my boobies done when I was 19, but like looking back, I was like, wow, I was like still a baby.
Yeah, I don't personally think that it needs to be done at that point, but again, it's being done as a preventative. So like, you know, the way that skincare is being treated right now, you and I know this absolutely. Like, our generation and Gen Z are looking to prevent premature aging rather than try and correct it once it's already happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, the potential issue with that is creating muscle fatigue.
Yeah.
And actually having the opposite effect of like speeding up premature aging and making it easier to develop wrinkles.
Like I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
No, just that being said, like, I wish that more people who are like our parents, you're lucky in that your mom is doing it with you, but like my family is very against doing anything cosmetic, and they would only know that I had done it when I tell them. But I'm interested in like making it more acceptable to prevent premature aging, you know, like it doesn't have to be a secret.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I feel like I would like to see more young people wait maybe till like their mid-20s, just because like there's still a lot in your taste, in the way that you see yourself. Like there's so much that happens between the age of 19 and 25, you know? And I feel like before you look into, I guess I just wish people were more, I don't want to say mature, but more like accepting of who they are before they use those things. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I mean, the benefit of those procedures is that they are not permanent. It's not like getting like a rhinoplasty. It will eventually go away. Like if you hop yourself up on fillers when you're 19.
There's a chance that like if you were 19 and you rushed into it and you went to the wrong person, then now you can have those bad results the rest of your life if they didn't do it right. You know what I mean?
Do you feel the same way about tattoos?
Yeah, like I had a shit ton of my tattoos that are being removed right now. I just like, it goes back, like, to each their own, yes, but I just feel like there's so much that happens between the age of like in your early 20s and maybe waiting until like your mid 20s when you're more comfortable with your, and like you're always going to change, right? But like when you're more comfortable with who you are as a person, like focusing on that first and then maybe looking into aesthetics after, you know?
I see what you're saying. I don't agree with you, but I understand your point of view. Yeah. The way I see it is, if having an aesthetic procedure helps you feel more like yourself and better about yourself, then there's no reason not to do it. If that's going to like create an environment where you feel like you can accept yourself a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess,
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I guess
I understand your point. I'm just not in agreement with it.
Yeah, like I guess like where I'm kind of conflicted on is like, yes, like I had things done for myself, like at an early age too. So like I feel more confident and happy with myself. For instance, like having my breasts done, right? But like at that time, like I wasn't, like I guess like where I'm conflicted is like having these younger teenagers who are looking to, like, let's say Kylie or whoever, and like thinking that they have to get that done, and there's such an early age for it. And there's just such a higher chance of them like maybe like never really accepting to who they are, because they're always comparing themselves to this unrealistic celebrity, you know?
Do you think that would happen whether they got aesthetic procedures done or not? Because there's always, like, you're literally always going to be comparing yourself to the pictures you see on Instagram. Like, we're seeing that pretty much across the board with social media. It's having a huge impact,
especially
on
with
self-esteem.
this generation.
So, I mean, does it, like, on that argument, like, does it matter one way or the other if they go get the fillers or if they're just staring at themselves in the mirror next to a picture of Kylie?
Yeah, I guess my final thoughts on it is that, like, I guess I can't change that as a whole, but if I had one advice to share with you when you're younger and you want to get those things done, is just know that, you know, it's there and it's available, and if it's something that you feel would make you feel more beautiful and confident in yourself, then go for it. But definitely do the research ahead of time, and just it's a big decision, you know, that you should take seriously, not lightly. Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. This was a fun topic for us that I was like really excited to start talking about.
Yeah, we love injecting shit into our faces.
Yeah. So we are on Instagram. We would love for you to connect with us. I don't think we've mentioned that yet. Let
Probably
us know
not.
what topics you want to listen to. Like, this is probably only going to be like our 3rd or 4th episode, and we're having a lot of fun doing it, but we always welcome feedback. So thank you so much for listening and dealing with us.
Dealing with us. We're absolutely
We're fucking
delightful.
amazing. Yeah, okay.
That's what
I'm
I'm
like
saying.
sweating. I am having hardcore boob
You
sweat
can go.
right now. Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye.